Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Saffana Kirana. I'm from 3B class, and in this video I will fulfill my final exam given by Mr. Udi Samanhudi for the academic speaking subject. Now I want to give an information about human trafficking. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, human trafficking is the act of gathering, moving, receiving, or keeping human beings by threat, force, coercion, or deception for exploitative purposes. So that we can say human trafficking is the trapping and exploitation of a person using deception, violence, or coercion. It generally takes three main forms. The first one is forced labors, which includes sex trafficking, and the second one forced marriage, and the last one forced organ removal. Human trafficking is a highly structured and organized criminal activity. Criminal enterprises need to transport a large number of migrants over a substantial distance, have a well-organized plan to execute the various stages of the crime, and possess a substantial amount of money for such undertakings. Our country, Indonesia, is also a hotspot for human trafficking. According to the Global Slavery Index, there are an estimate 1,220,000 Indonesian enslaved today. Many of these men, women, and children are trafficked for labor or domestic servitude domestically and internationally, while others are exploited in the sex trade. 43% of Indonesia trafficking victims are between the ages of 14 to 17. Okay, so many people are confused about human trafficking and human smuggling. So, what are the differences between them? The first one is consent. The smuggling of migrants, while often undertaken the dangerous or degrading condition, involves migrants who have consent to the smuggling. Trafficking victims, on the other hand, have either never consent or if they initially consent, that consent has been rendered meaningless by the coercive, deceptive, or abusive action of the traffickers. The second one is exploitation. Smuggling ends with the migrants arrival at their destination, whereas trafficking involves the ongoing exploitation of the victim. The last one is transnationality. Smuggling is always transnationality, whereas trafficking may not be. Trafficking can occur regardless of whether victims are taken to another state or only moved from one place to another within the same state. And how the process of human trafficking. Human trafficking usually consists of three stages. In the first stages, the victims are recruited. Criminals use many methods to force or trick people into being trafficked. In some cases, the people are abducted and assaulted. In other cases, however, the people are offered good jobs and attractive opportunities that do not actually exist or that force them into exploitative labor and living conditions. In the second one, they are transport. Victims may be moved by land, sea, or air, openly or covertly, in groups or alone, using public or private means of transportation. People can be trafficked across legal or illegal border crossings, or in cases when one person are trafficked inside the borders of a country, no border crossing at all. And in the third, they are exploited. Victims may be obligated to any of the following. The first one is have sex or be sexually assaulted and work in places such as factories, restaurants, plantation, mines, or homes as a domestic helpers without the right to rest or the option to live. Have an organ removed, beg, sell illegal drugs, or fight as a child soldier. And the last one is very scary, that have to get married. And how to decrease human trafficking? The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe action plan to combat trafficking in human beings provide the frame of Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe activities in support of the anti-trafficking efforts participating state. It contains core commitments for action at the national level, known as the three Ps. Three Ps, there is prevention, including addressing root causes and awareness raising, and prosecution, including investigation and adjudication, and protection of victims' rights, including assistance and compensation. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.